it's September 1st. I almost said, August something or other. It's September 1st, 2011, and a couple of days ago, Jupiter went retrograde. That's the illusion of it going backwards from our point of view here on Earth. Now, Jupiter's in Taurus. Jupiter went into Taurus during a crazy period where we're having like lunar and solar eclipses and the spring solstice, and it was just like so many things were going on, and then Jupiter went and entered into Taurus, and it was like June something, and frankly, that's where it's going to go back to. All this distraction that we had during the eclipse season and the solstice season and all this like stuff, Jupiter says, well, let's review what went on from 0 degrees Taurus to 10 degrees Taurus. Jupiter's in 10 degrees Taurus now. It's going to go back to 0. You know when it stops to go direct again? Christmas. Okay? And then by the time, the amount of time it takes for it to reach 10 degrees again is like middle of March 2012 or something. So sometimes it's difficult to wrap your head around Jupiter, which is expansive, and it's getting information from out there. Philosophy and theology and higher education, and publication means reading stuff that other people wrote. The world of ideas, and Taurus, which is fixed Earth, deals with the 5 senses. If I can smell it, if I can lick it, if I can touch it, if I can taste it, yummo. And it deals with the Earth. Now you go, okay. Well, Jupiter is expansive. I have Jupiter in the first house. I get fat. It's like this expansive planet is in the first house of my physical body. So, I have to struggle all the time with this accordion body of mine. It's like, it's lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. But this expansive planet that lets off 3 degrees more heat than it receives from the sun, it's the consistency of a milkshake. It deals with these higher level thoughts. And Taurus, which deals with the earth and things that are physical. How do we reconcile these first? And then what happens when it goes backwards, when we have to like things, renew, revisit, revitalize, rejuvenate, for retrograde. Now, retrogrades have a bad rap, and it's undeserved, because we can't go forward all the time. We can't like invest time and energy into things, into enterprises, without consolidating them. We can't be taking in all sorts of information without reviewing what we've taken in and seeing if it really works with us. So the retrograde periods, and there's like a lot of retrograde planets right now. It's like Jupiter. So what's going on? I'm just going to take a look. Okay, so Jupiter's retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, Chiron for those who deal with the asteroids, and the wounded healer, that's retrograde too. So we have all these things that are going into retrograde, and that means a lot of things are being revisited, revitalized, renegotiated, renewed, and Jupiter is no exception. Jupiter deals with money, luck, and expansion. So starting a business, if it's like a for-profit enterprise, this is not really the best time to do it, because you'll be giving away a lot of your stuff for free. If you're trying to raise money for a nonprofit, to do humanitarian work, to do good works, then this is a really good time for it. Go figure. Maybe that's why I don't really make money I give away stuff for free. I have Jupiter and Capricorn retrograde in the first house. You know, it's like instead of like making money, I just like, oh, I give it away for free. It also puts Aquarius in the second house, so the personal resources are sort of like wacky. So anyway, I'm going to be putting together a blog post with this particular video in it, and I'll have the URLs to these different websites that I got information from, and I'm just gonna look at some of the notes. This is from Joe Tracy, and she says that look at the houses that Jupiter rules, and then and also, since Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces as well as the ruler of Sagittarius, look at the houses that Pisces and Sagittarius have in your chart, and those things are going to be highlighted. Because Taurus deals with food, Jupiter and Taurus are like, oh, let's eat, drink, and be merry. Look, they had news articles about how much food was wasted during Ramadan, you know, in the Middle Eastern countries. That, you know, it's like, and so when Jupiter in Taurus goes retrograde, it's a great time to start a diet. You go, oh, I just ate too much on the Eid. So it says, if you're in the middle of a project and you thought that it was like a sure thing, don't be surprised if there's some doubts that come up. Some projects just stall, and some people say it feels like a Jupiter in 12th house transit happens, and so she says a lot of times it's Jupiter retrograde. There's promises that are given. People promise more than they can deliver. Let's see what else. Oh, Jupiter has a habit of removing things in your life that you thought you need, but you really didn't. But it's not like, you know, ripping the Band-Aid off, like with forceful Pluto transits. Okay, and this is from this is from Planet Waves. Let's see what. Oh, they say it's a good time to catch up. Catching up meaning, you know, it's like we invest our time and we invest our energy. We put our time in, you know, we put our efforts into things, and then we just need to catch up with what. That's a consolidation process. We need to just catch up with ourselves. They talked about that, you know, Jupiter coming into Taurus during the eclipse season. All the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the, you know, the natural disasters and stuff like that. What it's done is that it's made us take notice, and we take notice of. I found myself reconnecting with people, and this also happens during Jupiter retrograde, because Jupiter deals with groups of people. So, like, if you take a long distance trip and you reestablish a relationship with someone who the relationship had been like dysfunctional, that's a good time catching up. We're catching up with relationship things as well, but we have to make it happen. It's just not going to go, oh, fairy dust, and then it happens. We have to make the effort. And then, okay, and this is from Starstruck Astrology. Oh, said that it's really good that Jupiter in Taurus is going retrograde during the Virgo season, because we're in Virgo season right now, and because Virgo deals with what's healthy, and Taurus deals with foods, and Jupiter deals with the philosophy of foods. So slow cooking, less fast foods, sitting down and eating with family, reconnecting, you know, like breaking bread. The word companion, for goodness sake, is con, which is with, pan, which is bread. He who I break bread with. And that's, we can go into the sacrament. you know, for those who are into the Christian tradition. So sitting down and having a meal that's been slow cooked with friends and family, reconnecting, catching up, and because there's a need to balance it in order to look within, because the Jupiter retrograde says look within for the truths, look within yourself for the truths. So if your body is not balanced, if you're not eating right, if you're not doing the right things for your body, that's that Virgo influence, then how can you find the truth that's within yourself? Also remember that Mars is going to go into Virgo, and it's going to be there like for 6 months. You know, I talked about this during the Virgo new moon video. It goes in, I think, November. So the last 2 months of Jupiter in Taurus being retrograde, Mars is going to be in Virgo saying, yeah, eat right, eat your vegetables. Okay, this is from About Astrology, you know, so, you know, that about.com. It says Taurus is earth, nature, food, the planet. Okay, then Jupiter is hope, inspiration, wisdom, and encouragement. And it says that things that you can put your hands on to make real. And I talked about this about the Jupiter return from my clay art group. We started it with Jupiter in Taurus, and we've done it for 12 years. So we've come to our Jupiter return. We work with our hands. We smoosh. We get a grip on our clay. We're touching and smooshing things. Permaculture, you know, doing things that work in a group, that has to do with the earth, that has to do with foods that are sustainable, that are grown locally. This is all happy business with Jupiter and Taurus in general. Thinking about these things, reviewing these things, revisiting these issues are good. So, flourish together, nourish together, okay? Local initiatives based on need. Food co-ops. So if you, Jupiter and Taurus, since a food co-op is for the greater good for a group, you know, putting together a food co-op at this time, I think, would be a really good deal, because you're doing an initiative that is good for the common, you know, the common welfare of a bunch of people, deals with food, it deals with a group. Jupiter and Taurus likes this. In the Virgo season, loves it. Take your vitamins. Take care of Mother Earth. You know, down with the Keystone Pipeline. Ah, yay, Daryl Hannah. Okay, so it says faith through the earth brings wisdom. So I mean, so we could talk about organic foods. We can talk about nutritional medicine. We can talk about, you know, these are issues that come up during Jupiter and Taurus, because Jupiter is the thoughts, and it's pulling the thoughts together. Yeah, Mercury is thinking, all this data. Jupiter consolidates these thoughts and puts it into some sort of structure. That's why it deals with higher education, right? So if it's in Taurus, then we're dealing with the earth, we're dealing with our senses, we're dealing with the body, we're dealing with these manifest things, and we're getting a fix on it, because Taurus is fixed earth. Okay, what else is going on? Okay, this is from Jeff Jarrer on Star IQ, I believe. He says that Jupiter usually looks outside for information. Retrograde Jupiter, internal. Yikes! Well, it's 14 minutes. I gotta go. So that's just it. A short review of Jupiter in Taurus retrograde.